Please record on speaker view.
Yeah. Are you there, Flavia? We might have lost Flavia.
Let's give her a couple of seconds. Maybe she's back.
Yeah, I think she's back now.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try again. I hope this time my internet will help out. So I'm Flávia. I'm speaking from Rio, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and I would like to ask you guys to unmute yourselves while we are speaking and presenting. And so I'm really grateful and happy for being here today talking about two projects I'm deeply connected and in love with. I was a Shuttleworth Foundation Flash grant recipient last year, and I was nominated by Karla, who is here as well and will speak a little. So I will, Luis, please, if you allow me to screen share.
Yeah, sure.
So
yes,
the reason why we are here today is to, I can't go now. So we're here to talk about how I use the Flash grant and how the partnerships between these projects happen, and also to talk about two major themes that I'm really kind of interested in, which is education and alternative economies. So this is open discussions. I hope we will have a good conversation around this, and I get to explain how the Flash grant was really helpful for both Educar and the Muda, and how we have grown during this experience, and how we implemented social currency usage with kids in favela here in Rio as part of an educational game. So for today, on our agenda, we will speak a little, each of us, me, Louise, and Carla, we'll spend a little time talking a bit little about how each of us came here to this moment and what connected us, and a little about our own trajectories. And then I will present the case of the game Nós Juntos, which is the game that was kind of embodied the partnership between Muda and Educar. And then in the final session, we will open for discussions and Q&A. So for now, I'd like to ask Carla to speak a little about her and how it all started. As I mentioned before, she was the one that nominated me for the Flash grant. So she is one of the main reasons I'm here today with you guys. So I'd like to first thank you so much for your attitude and action. And yeah, please jump in. I will stop the screen share so we can see your face better.
Thank you, Flavia, and thank you, everyone. Hola, hola. I'm Carla Cordova. I'm right now in Costa Rica, but I used to live in Brazil too. COVID got me trapped in Costa Rica, but I have half of my heart in Brazil and half in Costa Rica all the time. And I'm really happy to be here. I'm supporting the session today, but the real start of this is Educar and Muda, and the role that Flavia and Luis have had in those two amazing projects. So about myself, quickly, I am officially still a fellow until March 1st, which is the day officially I became an alumni. So I'm actually closing my third year of the fellowship, which has been a life-changing experience for sure. And I know Karin that is here, she has been a witness of all that journey. Um, so it started back in 2017. At that time, I already knew Ranulfo, which is my husband, partner in crime, and co-founder of all these many projects, including Cambiatus. Uh, but I was going out. I mean, I went out of Singularity University. I did a program there, 4 months in California. It was an amazing, crazy experience in Silicon Valley. I learned a lot about what I liked and what I really don't like about the startup world and doing business in that crazy, quickly changing environment. But I also learned a lot about myself and that I wanted to build something a little bit different, that I wanted to build something more collaborative and something more open and something more transformative. And not for me or for Ranulfo only as founders. I don't know, just having an exit and selling a successful business. That wasn't our goal at all. We wanted to do something that was more aligned with our values. And so after the experience on Singularity, I was really excited. We had the first ideas of actually making Cambiatus happen for real. At that time, it had a different name. It was Spiral and then Bispiral. But now it's Cambiatus. And but I also was broke, completely broke. My bank account was at zero, and I felt really really bad about that. It was because of that long experience at Singularity. I quit all my clients and my previous job, and I decided to jump into this adventure. But financially, I was struggling, always with the support of my family, but always challenging myself what I can do now. And then the opportunity of the fellowship arrived. The universe sent us the little link to the page of Shuttleworth Foundation, and we applied with the idea of building a tool that will allow people to create their own digital communities using their own complementary currency as a way to incentivize people to work together, to achieve together environmental, social, and economic goals. So with that in mind, we applied. At that point, Cambiatus was 4 pages and a crappy PowerPoint demo. And the Shuttleworth Foundation saw something there and they trusted us to bring this to life. And now 3 years later, it exists. It exists and many people is actually involved in Cambiatus and all the sister projects that have been emerging over the years. Now Cambiatus exists. Cambiatus is several things. It's a company. It's an organization. That's the best word that we like to use. It's an organization. It's a group of people, a marvelous team, 14 people working. It is also a software. So it's a piece of software, open software that people can use and reuse. Then there is also a methodology, a way to design those currencies. First, change your mindset about what is money, what are complementary currencies, how you can create your own, and then a process to actually create one and the software as a companion. But it's also a big community. Cambiatus is a big community of people, little clusters in different countries. Now we have communities in Costa Rica, in Brazil, one new one emerging in Ethiopia in Africa, the first one in Africa, and several other communities starting the process of learning about this. So now we have more than 3,000 users that have been going through that have used Cambiatus at some point, more than 2,000 active users now, and more than 70 social entrepreneurs like Flavia that went through the process of Cambiatus, and they are doing new things and imagining new things thanks to this. So I'm really proud of this. In my personal background is I am a communicator in my first life. Then I did my master's in community development. Then I worked in an NGO for several years in Costa Rica in the environmental sector. And then I met Ranulfo and the two worlds collided, the world of social entrepreneurship, environmental, and also the ideas about what is money and social currencies and how to use them. So that's a kind of quickly, not so quick introduction of myself, but mostly about Cambiatus. And then quickly before finishing, the flash grants, my personal decision was always to nominate women from Latin America. And I nominated 4 marvelous women, powerful leaders, and Flavia is one of them.
Yay, thank you so much for that and the work that you're doing. I'm so glad that our paths crossed during this journey. And also, I would like to introduce one of the persons that linked us together. So, Luis, if you could please just drop in and talk a little about yourself and also your journey.
Thank you, Flavia. Hello, Carla. Hello, everyone. Pura vida. My name is Louise Hadad. I am a surfer, a Reiki healer, and a community builder. I am very happy to be here today. It's really one of those things that you connect the dots, you know, one of those things that I still remember the day that I met Flavia in a Alternative Economies event. And, you know, she was talking about this amazing NGO that she was part of, and they were struggling with funding. And I was like, yeah. And then, you know, she knew about blockchain, she knew about English. I'm like, yeah, I think there's a project that you might be interested in joining. So she joined Muda with us. And then when she joined Muda, you know, Educar sort of joined the community with us. And then I remember the day Carla asked me, she said, hey, Luis, I really want to, you know, give my flash grant to someone from Muda, but I only nominate women from Latin America. Who do you think I should nominate? And I was like, this is an easy one. So let's go for Flavia and let's use it for Educar. So I'm very happy to participate in this connection. It's really a great blessing, you know, to know such wonderful people and be able to connect these dots. Basically, as Carla said, in my first life, I've been a lawyer and an investment banker. During that time, I had 2 burnout crises, and then I sort of gave up on trying to be something that was not myself. So I decided to, you know, start chasing my dreams, start working with startups. I went through the rat race of trying to build a unicorn, and I saw that, you know, this rat race wasn't for me. And then I met a bunch of fun people that call themselves satisfied vagabonds during a meetup in São Paulo. Soon we, you know, started, and these are Carla, Ranulfo, and all the Cambiatus team. And then soon after that, you know, I was advisor of Cambiatus. I met Karen at our vagabonding trip in Santa Teresa. At that time, I was working at a impact investment fund. But, you know, even though it was impact investment, I still felt that I was a banker. So that did not felt very good. And I was, you know, wondering that I should go back and do what I love the most, which is building communities. And basically, when I say, you know, community building, what I mean by the term is that we engage people with causes. So if marketing has this objective of making easy to sell things, community building has the objective of engaging people into causes. So this suits a lot what we're doing with blockchain and complementary currencies. So I felt that I was being a fish out of the water when I was in the investment banking area, even though it was impact investment. So I was, most of the time I was talking with Carla and Renufo. Oh yeah, you know, I really think that I could be doing something different. I want to work on the ground, go back with, work with change makers, social entrepreneurs. And then Muda came into my life. So I had this wonderful opportunity of being an initiator of the network and sort of build the community from the ground, from zero. And seeing projects like Educar flourish and, blossom with causing impact on people that I don't know personally. This is wonderful, because that the impact that we're causing is not within our reach anymore. So it's already out of control, and it's good to be out of control, because now that we've crossed the Rubicon, right? And yeah, so I'm very grateful to be here. Thanks a lot for everyone in Shuttleworth Foundation. Your belief in the Cambiatus and in the Educar team made all the difference. And yeah, I hope to collaborate and here to share experiences and learnings. Back to you, Flávia.
Yay, thank you so much. Yeah, so great to hear, like, and go back in the story on how we met and how everything kind of play out so organically. I remember sending you those audios from Carol. It was really a phase that we were really struggling financially. She was kind of really had hard time with her job, and when Carla said that she was broke, I totally totally aligned with that sentence, because that was the part and the phase I was at when I met Louise and when I met Muda. I was totally broken, but working at Educar really believing that the change and the significance of what we were doing, and that really brought me kind of relief and a piece of mind and spirit, but not money. But I was broke, happy, broke. But also, I always had this kind of instinct to investigate and really question myself on my own relationship to money and how our society are structured around it, and is it possible for us to change? So, and I was really alone on this quest till I met Louise and people from Muda that were really dropping this wave and really thinking and building different stuff. So when I met them, it was the universe like showing like, this is the path, you're being right all along. So that I found my crew of change makers and yeah, that was it, I guess, for me. And I can start now presenting. Oh, yeah, about my past life. I graduated in pharmacy, so I always had like this deep interest in how our biological machine works. So I sometimes I trip on making connections to the word and economic to our body and nature, and how biological systems are so connected, and how we are like little proteins within a big cell that is Gaia. So I graduated in pharmacy, but I couldn't connect. And what brought me to Educar was kind of family background. My mother, she was one of those kids that had a really tough childhood and really in a position of in situation of vulnerability. And I grew up hearing those stories, even though she managed to give me and my sister a better life. I grew up with those stories, and it kind of it kind of stuck on me, like, and I felt like I need to do something and be part of the change into this kid's life somehow. So that's why when I left college, I started to look for volunteer works, and I found Educar and I kept showing up because I felt so connected to those kids and their stories. And yeah, so I would just present to you the case of the game that we built during COVID. So we shared how we met and how kind of everything started. And I remember it was a talk between when we were discussing about the grant. I was really in doubt of how it would play out. I couldn't believe they would just give me the money without no really need for financial demonstrative and stuff like that. I was kind of confused, and I believe that would be so many amazing people in the world. And I remember talking to Karla, and somewhere in the conversation, Karla, you mentioned that we should do things with the tools that we have available. And it kind of stuck to me because in the Educar, we were facing that crisis of, okay, now we can see the kids, the pandemic hit us. How can we keep close and together, but with physical isolation? And we said that about the tools and using what we have available. And that's what the beginning of the story of the game, that we always kind of were looking on gamified methodology, how we can use things that and structure from games to help the teaching, the learning experience to be more fun and fluid. But we never really, to this time, we have never really implemented gamified methodologies. And when we couldn't stay together, I thought, yeah, this is the opportunity for us to use technology. The kids, they almost all of them have cell phone. They almost then have WhatsApp. So maybe we can use those tools to keep in contact and keep close to them. And back then I was in Muda already. So it kind of, the pieces were coming together. But before jumping in and further on how we kind of developed and implemented the game, I will give a little background on Muda.
Sorry?
Which is, sorry, Peter just muted you. So I can go on with the presentation. So yeah, Muda is this really beautiful and amazing project with these really incredible people, which I found in my life. And our goal is to experiment with alternative economies based on joy and abundance. And the name is Muda Outras Economias in Portuguese, and we kind of always emphasize on the others or alternative economies, because we believe that these economies, they are not really new, ancestral, and people and communities, they all kind of experience different types of economies. We just kind of forgot how to live and embody this economy. So this project is really about going back and connecting again to ancestral ways of living and connecting economically to each other. And joy is a really important thing for us, because we are a group of artists and clowns, and we really people that have been through burnouts, and we know and appreciate the importance of living a healthy and balanced and emotional balanced life. So so joy is really important for us. So we take things like in the most happy and light way, and always kind of bringing back how abundant we are, and really shifting the mindset from that false scarcity that we are in, and really kind of channel into the abundance and the potential that we all humans are. So that's kind of us and our thing. And Muda is like a booster network. We have this model that we want to booster and incentivize social, environmental, cultural, and educational projects. So, and we do that by, while we circulate our own unconvertible social cryptocurrency with the assistance of great Cambiatus. So, so yeah, a little about us. So Muda, we started, as I said, from a group of artists, professors, hackers, surfers, and producers, and amazing dreamers. And then we started, like, officially launched last December 2019, just a little before the craziness of COVID, and I don't know, and we kind of started in a way that was COVID ready, because we were already working remotely and doing things like that. And when COVID started, our network only grew stronger and stronger, and had a really organic growth. So now we have more than 1,500 members in our community, 400 more than 400 offers within our Cambiatus platform. And from these offers, we have already made, people in our community have already made more than 1,800 requests. So it's really within 1 year we have this kind of organic and beautiful growth. And then mostly of this growth is based on our model to incentivize and make available for our community organic food baskets. So each week we set a number of organic foods that are available for our community. So we really, during our process, we really connected to the beauty of empowering and feeding our community their body with healthy organic food, and also incentivize agroecological farmers, and also feeding them with art and feeding the soul with artistic and cultural content. So as I mentioned, our model, Muda Models, is like a booster network. So we work to incentivize and make the possibility of the growth of different projects. So within our network, we have 10 double finance projects like Educar, which are projects that are financed in reais, our nation fiat currency here in Brazil. And also these projects are financed in Mudas as well. And we have 6 other projects that are only financed in Mudas. So it's our way to incentivize their growth, and we do that. We incentivize the circulation of Muda by rewarding people for conscious actions like meditation practice during COVID, staying home for 1 day, or not eating meat. So we have a list of conscious actions we want to incentivize, and we reward our members for those actions. We also reward volunteer works within those projects we participate, and also we have like this broader way to incentivize volunteer work, and we also have a model that we do a reimburse and crowdfunding donations. So I will explain later. We did it in Educar, so people that donated in crowdfunding campaigns, they can have that money reimbursed in Mudas. So it's also a way to incentivize the people kind of direct their fiat money to conscious and environmental, cultural, social activities. So yeah, and within this year, we had more than 190,000 Mudas in circulation. And to make our participation easier, one Muda is equal to £1. Yeah. So yeah, this is Muda. If you have questions about it,
may I say something quickly, just for for people that is not familiar with Cambiatus or the Muda, the offers. I mean, the members is people in the system, of course, in the graph. Offers refers to people that is actually offering to sell products and services on the marketplace. So those are people that are actually selling products and services and accepting Muda in return. And by products and services, you name it. It can be teaching lessons, I mean, English lessons, Portuguese lessons. It can be bread. It can be scented candles. It can be organic food, whatever people has available to sell and exchange. And then the other one, the request, is people that actually, as Flavia was explaining, they are doing these conscious actions, volunteering or donating. They are doing something towards the goals of Muda, and they are requesting their Mudas in return. They are getting the reward of those actions. So that's the biggest column, people actually doing collectively good things.
Thank you, Carla. Yeah, if I tend to speed up so much, so if I'm talking too fast or anything like that, just let me know, and I'll slow down a little. But thank you for complimenting. Yeah, and this is if anyone has some question about Muda and the final session Q&A, we can open that and discuss about it. So this is Muda, and this is Educar Mais. So the both projects that are part of this partnership. So Educar Mais, I joined them and in 2017, right after it started, and it's an education NGO in a favela in Rio that is in one of the most dangerous complexes of favelas in Rio. And Carol, I will talk about. There's a photo of Carol. I'll show her later. She's this really amazing young and entrepreneur um, woman that she started this project because she kind of looked at her neighbor's childhood and how different it was from her own childhood, because when she was growing up, drug traffic was not in her favela, and it started like uh, I don't remember the year, but I guess around the 2010 or something. But yeah, kids nowadays, they do live in this really dangerous environment, and they are really used to violent context and vulnerable, also vulnerable and poverty situations. And seeing that, and how, and also Carol had an experience when she was growing up that he had access to a social project that really changed her life, and the project ended. So when she's faced her neighbors with this in this dangerous environment without that access to cultural and social activities, she really started and moved around to start Educar Mais. And she started when she was like 15, so really young entrepreneur. I really admire her passion and her initiative to bring this difference to those kid that lives around her. So, and Educar Mais started like a campaign to really focus on literacy and reading activity. So it all started with a child's book collection campaign, just bringing books together so that kids will have some form of will have available for them books, and remembering that, and these kids, they really don't have access to books or reading. Most of them don't have this habit of reading, or even a newspaper or a book around them. It's really far from the social reality reading. So it started as a way to bring reading activities and habits closer to them. So it started in 2017, and today we have more than 600 books in our library. We accompany and we offer assistance to 70 children and 45 families, and the children, their age are from 6 years old to 14 years old. Uh, Before COVID, we used to do like monthly gatherings, really bringing all kids together from different ages, and doing playful activities, reading circles, and just open up a space for them to have contact to volunteers. Like I started in one of these monthly gatherings. I found it then online, and website that connects people that want to volunteers to social project. I was really searching for something that I could bring my daughter with me. And when I went that first time in this one of this gathering, there was a bunch of kids from really running around the place, and I am really kind of into reading since I was a kid. I love reading and writing. I have this in my family background. And when I got there, I was kind of expecting to read to kids. And then when I got that and opened the first book and started reading a question, and the minute later, the kid had already gone and run and was completely unable to focus on the story. I kind of sensed how different my personal experience in childhood was from theirs. And at that moment, I felt that like a deep connection and willingness to keep showing up and keep trying to introduce this reading word and my own experiences to them. So yeah, we did more than 35 until COVID. Now we kind of changed our way of doing things, but we hope to come back to these monthly gatherings once everything is okay. And our teaching activities, as I mentioned, we focus on literacy and reading groups, but we also had some audiovisual classes that took place. And during COVID, we started the game. So I will go talk more about the game.
Thank you, comma Heidi, exclamation point. We'll get these invites out today, period.
Okay. So about the game, so it really started as an MVP, like how can we, after those talk with that talk with Karla, so I was starting to think, how can we start using what we have and adapt our methodology to a distance and to tools and the kids are used to, and it kind of, and we were also digging into gamified methodologies. So we were looking into these elements from games. So really explaining the gamified methodologies, and it's when you use these common structures of games and you apply them to your activity or the context you want to pass or anything you want to build. You can gamify things when you adapt these structures and elements from games into what you're building. So that's what we did. We had like this main methodology that we went through these major themes. Like we did this before the game, that we always kind of talked and tried to talk to them about social issues, and we had this kind of way of talking first about self-knowledge and really creating a space for them to understand themselves as Black kids in favelas in Brazil, and really dealing with social emotional skills and how to control anger and anxiety. So we had this kind of inner work first, then we moved to citizenship, then kind of look how we are interacting with each other and try to look how we can be better as a group and as citizens, and how it's our roles and rights. And then we talked about and look broader to our environment, how we are taking care of the places and the nature around us. So then we can move to futurism and think ahead. So once we understand ourselves and our community and how our community is interacting with the world and the nature, how can we think about the future? So we always kind of had this in our way of doing things. And during the game, the idea is that we use those themes to create challenges. So we had weekly individual challenges. So that's when the self-directed part of education came, that we really understood that it's important for to give special attention to each kid's personal process. So each person is completely different and look things through different lens and ways. So we had like individual challenges, and in the start we kind of started with 10 kids in a WhatsApp group with like 5 tutors, and each tutor will guide the kids during this process. So we also have some rules. They're also alignment from games, and the narrative we created like a story to orient and create like a shared word around the stories, and to give like a goal for and a context for these challenges. So, and we have these weekly challenges, and we by each month we covered one of these main 4 themes. So it was thematic challenges, and then once kids went through their own personal challenges, they would be rewarded with Muda. So in games, it's really common that we are rewarded with coins and actually currencies. And here we had this amazing opportunity to use actual currency, the currency that are not only created and circulated within the game, but also a currency that is circulated within a broader network, which is Muda. So this partnership allowed us to introduce the kids to a GameFi methodology and also introduce them to the circulation of a social currency and allow them to really interact with a broader community of people that are engaging with social actions and offering their abundance and the potential to the world. So this is how it was structured. And then we also had feedback loops. So along the process, and it was this MVP was designed to last 6 months, and during this process, a lot has changed. A lot of people and women, mostly most of our volunteers are women, and some of women they couldn't stay with us during the game, and the isolation got more flexible. So we started introducing some. Uh, some activities in our local space, and we had a kind of hybrid like presential and distant thing. So a lot of has changed. So we also get this feedback loops that is constant, also the element from games. And yeah, this is how it was kind of designed and how it worked. And during the timeline of the partnership between Educar and Muda, as I mentioned, it always started during a conversation with Karla about the Flash grant from Shuttleworth, and and then this idea of the game started, and then we started to work on it, and we kind of implemented it with what we had, like our usual volunteers and our unpaid work, and we did it. And then we did a crowdfunding campaign to help us raise more funds, and it was really successful. We also had a partnership with Muda, and that model that people that donated to our crowdfunding campaign in Educar, they had the possibility to be reimbursed in Mudas and claim their Mudas for their donations, and we raised more than 70,000 reais during this campaign. And it was like this process, this partnership between Shuttleworth and Muda and Cambiatus and Educar. It was the first time that we managed to pay to finance our staff. So this is Carol and Tainá. So Carol started the project when she was really young, and she lives there. She's really passionate about those kids. And Tainá also is with us since the beginning. And we kind of went through the broken phase all together. So when the opportunity of this Flash grant happened, I was really, really emotioned and grateful to be able to provide them with this mean of saying your work here is really, really appreciated, and we must really appreciate and pay and reimburse people that are engaged with this local and it opened a bunch of doors for the Kamais. It was the first kind of finance, that great finance that we received. But after that, we started some other I forget the word, but other
Grants.
types of finance
Grants.
happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, and things started flowing. I guess that's the flow of abundance when things start flowing, and I was really grateful to be part of it, and it stayed that how I appreciate the work that they're doing, and how I was kind of them feeling when you're when I'm walking and walking a ladder, and you get to pull the people that you want with you. So I really felt this way. And so how we used it, the budget, most of it was for human resources during the 6 months. And a part of it we separated to buy some rewards and some goods to offer within the Muda community. So Educar has some offers in Muda, like we bought some kiddo signatures, some makeups and candies and stuff kids like and appreciate, and we offer there. And we also will have a trip, so things that they can be rewarded, the kids can be rewarded and feel they are also appreciated, and we also appreciate their effort in their own learning experiences. And yeah, I forget to mention that this picture I was really happy about. This was about a challenge that on the environmental responsibility theme, that they created this conscious phrase, and then they spread it through the community. So this is one picture of Larissa that she is putting the paper with the sentence she wrote, that in Portuguese that's written that preserve nature is to preserve yourself. We are part of her. So I thought really beautiful that it was one of the seeds I kind of planted about how we must talk about it, about how we are part of nature, and really get them into looking at this. So yeah, this is us. This is the game, and how we play out. And there is a lot of still to come. We are also still reaching for local entrepreneurs. As I mentioned, we have like this double financial model. So we are buying goods and service from local entrepreneurs in reais and allowing them to offer in mudas in our community. So they are in mudas and in reais, in a way for them to strengthen their local community, and really allowing people to see the potential and the things and the offerings, and really connecting them to circulate the goods and service within their local community and region. So in Muda model, we also reward in Mudas our volunteers. By our volunteers, we also have an action that we reward relatives that are engaged with our activities, and of course the kids that are engaged with their own learning program. So all of these key players, they are within Muda, and they get to access Muda offers, and we circulate and become part of this greater network of Muda. And yeah, so that's it. So we move now to Q&A. Thank you so much for being here. Listen, thank you so much for being part of this process. Yay.
Wonderful. May I ask you to don't stop sharing. Share again. I want to
Okay.
go back to one of the pictures at the beginning. I know Karin and PMR are going to appreciate this. I think it's, I don't know, back, maybe 2-3 slides back, when you have the picture of the kid on the login page. So the first time anyone used Cambiatus was in one of our Shuttleworth, one of the fellow gatherings, the gatherings we have every 6 months before COVID. And the first time someone used Cambiatus, the previous one. I think it's the first one. When you have, there is a kid on the back and she's like looking at the screen.
Oh, that's
yeah.
here.
And so that one. So the first time anyone used it, the application, the app, the first crappy version, Karin and PMR, Peter, you were there. You were the ones using it for the first time. And this photo is, she is using the last version. So that's actually the login page to the new version of Cambiatus, now with cool illustrations and everything. So it's kind of the full arc, starting with the crappy version. And
that makes me both really happy and really sad at the same time.
Remember? So that's part of the story behind it, that picture.
That is amazing. And Flavia, I asked a question about how you decided on what actions would be rewarded in Mudas, but actually talking through that on the education side has completely answered that question about what values you have and what kind of things you'd like to encourage. And so that concept has totally been answered. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this opportunity and this event. So, and with Muda, we had like we decided within our core group this kind of actions. What is that we want to incentivize and see more happening in the world. So we go through our Codesign meetings, and we are also always experimenting and changing and evaluating. So yeah, and there's stuff like ways to incentivize and socio-environmental, cultural, and artistic and educational activities. Louise, if you want to mention something as well.
I think you're quite right, Flavia. We the first co-design was basically an exercise of what sort of change we would like to see in the world and how we were going to reward people with our currency, right? So this reflected a lot on our values. And for now, we are still doing this off-chain. So we get basically the process is we get on a Zoom call with all the network initiators and we reach consent between the members, so everyone agrees on the changes. But I know that Cambiatus is working on developments. We will be able to do that fully on chain and using the Cambiatus software, and maybe we can even expand not only for the initiators but also for the community to vote on what actions should be rewarded, how it should be rewarded, how much Mudas, but that's still yet to come. We still have a path to this, let's call it liquid democracy process. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
and that's true, and that's also on the timeline, let's say, or on the to-do list for Cambiatus. It's on the making. This ability for community members to propose actions, and those actions getting voted and eventually incorporated into the actions of the community. But now it's more focused on the teams, and the team is they are kind of the guardians of the values of this community, and then progressively that could be shared with other members in the future. I want to ask a question to Flavia, as we are here, and this is an open conversation. Anyone can ask any question. I know that for us at Shuttleworth is the idea of this theory of change, right? What will be good to happen in the future, and how you were before and now how you are now is super important. And now that I'm working on my closing report, still pending, but working on it. I've been thinking a lot about that. How was Cambiatus at the beginning and how it's now after the whole 3 years of Shuttleworth Fellowship. And the Flash grant is something more focused and in a smaller period of time, 6 months. But I can see so many beautiful things that have been done by your team, Flavia. But my question to you will be, what is different now? I can see many things, but what is really different now for you that wasn't there at the beginning of this journey?
Yeah, no, firstly, I can totally say that I would imagine be sharing about Educar in a case and to an international group and an event. And this is certainly one thing. I was thinking about this early, and when we shared the invite, I couldn't imagine that there's like 1 year 1 year ago, but a lot has changed. Actually, it was like the partnership with Muda was really powerful, because Muda itself is a network of networks, so it's kind of has this kind of mycelium way of interacting and really connecting different types of groups and communities. So being able to meet you and Cambiatus and also other communities and reaching and connecting to different experiences was really powerful for us, and really gave us a sense of wow, there's something beautiful that we're doing. And we started talking about what we are doing more. And we really had this, I don't know, but we had this kind of experience in that we were not doing much, like something awkward and not really appreciative of our own effort. And I guess it totally has something to do with the way that we are seeing and favelas and stuff like that. There's a cultural pressure that to not highlight our potential and the way we are doing good things in the world. So we always had this kind of low self-esteem, maybe kind of perspective and way of seeing and looking to our own work. And once we reached to Muda and started connected to a broader community of of projects and people and change makers, we started kind of feeling at home and feeling more open to really share what we're doing. And that campaign process was a huge part of it. Luis might remember my how I was completely insecure and uncertain about this. I couldn't believe that people would donate, but people we know, they don't have money to donate, and I had all these negative backgrounds to it, and she pushed, do it, just do it. And to your point that he pushed me to do it, to open the campaign in his birthday, during his birthday, just do this. and I did it, and it was great. And I was looking to the achievements that like 70 people kind of donated and participated in the process and believed in our work. And it was kind of huge, and I totally did not believe it would happen. So there was a huge change on how we position ourselves, and also how we work with the kids. We got more confident to working with the kids, and I guess kids kind of felt it. And it's really amazing. It's really hard to measure the impact that these initiatives that they have on kids' life, because this favela, there's many favelas in Rio, but we are located in a non-privileged area of Rio. We are kind of in the not near to the beaches and the touristic areas. We are more kind of distant. So these communities, they have less attention and less visibility. So there are less resources. There are less resources flowing to these initiatives. And in this, there is no other social project. So mainly the kids will be spending their days in the streets, like running and being close to traffics and shootings and really violent environments. And it's so natural for them. Like their play is like to throw rocks at each other, and that's how they play. Violence is really on their culture. And being able to open up a space where we sit and read and talk about self-knowledge and talk about synergies and say, oh, we are part of nature. Can we see that? Can we do something in our community to show people that we are talking about this? So this was when I unfortunately during COVID, I kind of I'm not there. I'm distant from the project, but I'm accompanying, I don't know this word, but I keep seeing things and talking to Carol and Taina about their activities and how they what
that you keep supporting them even from the distance.
Yeah, I keep it close. I keep in contact with to see how things are doing. Now I'm mostly kind of putting ideas and doing this kind of institutional presentations and fundraising. But I see, when I saw this kind of activities and what they were doing locally, I really felt like sense of job done. Like, okay, this means something. Like it's been fruits. I've been collecting the fruits of what I've been planting, like during these 3 years together. And yeah, it's just been amazing. And after this, I think lots of things are continuing flowing and really full of abundance. And so I'm so glad about it. Thank you for the question. Yeah, I would like to, as we're speaking and I'm unmuted, I would like to ask you also that we were talking about like Cambiatus and how you're kind of developing and creating new things and stuff. And for me, it's really important. I really love like educational thing, but I also really love to question our role and how we are inserted in our economic activity. So what do you think is the relationship between education and the social currents and blockchain movements, and what is important to talk about it in those environments, Carla?
Oh, a lot of questions there. So trying to unpack a little bit that, I mean, first of all, what Flavia and the people from Muda, Luis, and all the people that behind the project are doing is, it just surpasses me. It's amazing to see what they do with the basic tools Cambiatus provides, right? Cambiatus is just a platform, and I say that it's my baby and it's beautiful and it's powerful, almighty. But actually, the real magic happens with them, right? So the things that Muda have come up to do on top of Cambiatus are super crazy and creative and I mean, really, really always surprised me. Same with Flavia and this the idea of this game and having kids using Cambiatus. I mean, those kids are using blockchain technology, right? They are using private keys. We don't even know that. They are using cryptography.
Yeah,
How cool is that,
just a
right?
fun fact, Carla. There's a fun fact. Carol was the one that kind of implemented and introduced the kids to Cambiatos, and she was really kind of worried about it. That she was worried that they won't get it. It's complicated, and she was really surprised because they get it so quickly, way, way, way quicker than she did. So
Better
it
than
was
adults.
really natural to her. And another fun fact that the youngest Cambiatos user is like 10 years old. So there's kid in 10 years old in favelas using Cambiatos in a really intuitive and easy way. So it's really amazing that how kind of there's like insights to the future and what we are doing. So go ahead, please.
That's wonderful. Imagine what that kid can do in 10 years or 5 years or 20. Yeah. So that, I mean, I think that the one of the main elements of behind Cambiatus is the idea of the mindset change. The idea of, I mean, the software is super important, the methodology is super important, but if you don't change the way you see money, as you were saying, the way you imagine connecting with others, the way you imagine an economic system and how it behaves. Uh, so we need to get rid of a lot of old ideas in order to jump in and into this new reality. So I think that the educational part is crucial, and that's why also is the first step in Cambiatus process is mindset change, learning a little bit about these things, what is money, how it works, what is a complementary currency, why to use it, because I mean the dollars works just fine. Why to use as another type of money, right? All those questions. That's the first step, and then you go to create the currency, and then you go to use it. So we are actually doing a spin-off of that first step, and it's becoming a new project called Cambiu or Cambiatus University. So the idea is to have this kind of non-traditional university, but a new way of learning for social entrepreneurs how to do these things, how to build these communities, these digital networks, these networks of networks, as Flavia said, using the tools we have, using blockchain technology, using complementary currencies, using this liquid democracy that Luis was mentioning. And we call these collaborative businesses, the idea of creating these networks. And then everyone has a say in how it works, and they also share the benefits of these networks. So we are actually spinning off that into a new business, into a new collaborative business, which is Cambiu. But also in the blockchain sector, many people uses Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies with the same thinking of the old traditional financial system, with the same greed, with the same vision, with the same values. There's a lot of work to do in order to change how we see these tools and how we understand the value, the power behind it to move us towards our goals. And I think that's crucial, and that's why also what I love what you're doing. Luis.
Hello. If I may, I would just like to compliment your answer, Carla, because one of the main things that happened at Educar was indeed the mindset change. I still remember when I was the early conversations with Flavia and Carol, and they were totally in scarcity vibration. Like, oh my God, we're not going to be able to do the crowdfunding. People are not going to collaborate. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if we don't make it? Are we going to compromise and don't get the funds? How are we going to bring the money from overseas to Brazil? You know, we don't have a legal institution for that. And I was all the time like, calm down, relax, let's go with the flow. We're going to make it. And this comes a lot from our methodology, from our process of having the mindset change first. And then I was, without Carol and Flavia even knowing, I was applying our methodology into the Educar project, because we already have that in Muda. And it's so cool because Flavia, like myself, Flavia works in two roles, right? She works at Muda and also works at Educar. Myself, I work at Cambiatus and at Muda. And with the learnings from Muda and the mindset change from Muda, Flavia was able to reverberate these vibrations and these learnings to Educar. So I hosted a call with Carol a few weeks ago, and she was totally in a different vibration. She was like, yeah, now we understand that money is an agreement, and the impact of those kids having a mindset change, you know, with 10, 15 years, it's amazing. And I totally agree. Like, it doesn't matter. Of course, having the right tools is very important. But, you know, if we have the right tools without the intention of causing positive impact, of collaborating, of, you know, doing good at the end of the day, it's worthless. So I really think that the biggest difference I see in Educar nowadays is that now they got like a total mindset change, and they're trusting in the flow of abundance. Like they understood that abundance is within themselves, and doesn't matter where you come from or where you were born. We all have not equal chances. Unfortunately, our world is not equal, but we all have the opportunity to co-create our destiny. And now I truly believe that when I see Educar I see them co-creating their destiny using Cambiatus as a tool. But they use other tools, but they're combining, and Cambiatus is a key element, and Muda is also a key element in this. Let's call it a stack, right? Yeah. So yeah, it's and education. And education is crucial, because education is basically how we provide people with information to use these tools, right? If you have the tool but you don't have the information on how to use it, it's worthless. So yeah, just my.
And I think I totally agree with everything. I think what PMR said on the chat is to change the way people think in 3 years is incredible. I wouldn't say that we have changed the way everyone thinks that is using Cambiatus. I have never. I mean, I cannot say that. I will say that many of the people from the teams, the leaders from the communities, they definitely went through a really tough process of learn, and practice. And then the members of the community, the more than 1,000 people in Muda, for example, they started the other way around, from the experience, from using the currency. And then some of them start questioning, this works. How is possible that this works and it's not reais and it's not dollars? And they start asking questions. And then the leaders and the team is able to support them because they already went through the process. So it's kind of, it goes both directions. I wouldn't say that you need to be like completely changed to use Cambiatus. Probably is not. The kids probably are having fun. They are asking questions and understanding how it works, and they will get more and more into it over time. Same with other members.
But you didn't you didn't envisage it being based on kids when you started, did you? You envisaged it being based on communities.
Yeah.
Who were really trading communities.
Yeah. Now that this is something that emerged from Muda and from Flavia idea and the context. I think it depends on the context. In the context in which these people are, if they need that, if the kids need that, and they have the tools, they can use it.
Yep.
It wasn't my intention at all. It is wonderful to see how this evolved and how this emerged, right?
Yes, you dig the field and then you find out what flowers are growing there, and then you nurture the ones that work.
We nurture the team,
Beautiful.
the teams behind these fields, and then the magic happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful analogy. And yeah, education is so important, and I think like kids, they are using it, and I keep imagining how they are not thinking about social currency, they are living social currency, and they are experimenting with it and have access to it in community. And there are stories of kids that went through in our Muda community with the Mudas they earned through their engagement in their learning skill, and they found English lessons. So we in the Educar, we don't have English classes, but through this partnership, the kids can have access to English lessons from other members in the community that are not tied to Educar at all. So it's really powerful that they get to see, okay, there's a bigger community that are already circulating this other currency that has completely different mechanism from reais. So they get to grow up knowing that it's possible to have different types of money. So I can figure out how powerful that is, and I just can't wait. I wish I could have a crystal ball to see the future, like and jump 10 years or 15 years to see how the kids are evolving and in their own economic decisions and partnerships. And my hope is that they get to see that and then be really empowered to build the interactions they want to build, because scarcity driven mindset. It's really strong in those communities, and they really they really lacked the ability to see their own potential. It is historical and structural, and so allowing these tools and making possible that they get financed and they get incentivized and they get rewarded for their education and engagement and social impacts, changes and actions. I think it's just so beautiful. This is such a beautiful, colorful, smelling good flower. So yeah, I'm really grateful for being a small part, a grain of sand in this plane. Does anyone have any questions?
There is a comment in the chat from Chase. This is a wonderful. I would love to discuss some ideas in Pop Culture Hero Coalition collaborating with you. We work in relatable, gamified children's mental health, using ideas. Kids love to teach, resilience, etc. Wonderful. And Karin says, I love how the power of the Flash grant and that of complementary currencies are related. Money, network, and potential. That's a really, really interesting thing. And first, to Chase, I think from my side, super open to talk more. I know the people from Muda will be also Luis and Flavia. But this is really key, what Karina is pointing. By using the Flash grant is an amount. And if you think about it, the amount of the Flash grant got multiplied by several times by adding the Muda into the equation. And those Mudas that were kind of multiplied and created because of the Flash grant, they keep circulating in the community. right? If you pay someone in dollars, those dollars go away. You go to the, I don't know, Walmart, then those dollars go away of the neighborhood and out of this community. But the muras stay in the community, connecting other people and circulating. Not, but basically with complementary currencies in theory and in research, we say that they circulate more than 5 times, but I will bet that in Muda is being a lot more since the beginning. So they keep boosting this network of people connecting and exchanging. So yes, it's kind of multiplying the effect of the philanthropy, same as they did with the crowdfunding campaign, right? So matching the donations actually multiplies the effect of that single donation original. Liz, you were going to say something about that?
Yeah, I was going to mention that this is, we believe that this process of sort of reimbursing fiat donations or with Muda and sort of going from a yin type of money to a yang type of money, it's pretty cool to balance our ecosystem, our financial ecosystem. And it was very cool because in the project, we had the opportunity to test a lot of hypotheses that we had. So one of the hypotheses was, sorry?
We lost you, Luis. Can you repeat the last minute or so?
Yeah. Okay. So we had the opportunity to test a lot of the hypotheses we had in the Muda Codesign, especially regarding the crowdfunding reimbursement, because we would like to test if people were willing to donate to a cause and get a Muda reimbursement, and what people would do with this reimbursement. Would they actually enter the network and participate? Would they just do the donation and do not claim? So out of the 70 people, we had quite a few that entered. I don't remember the number now, but I think it was a good sort of conversion rate. And it shows us that, you know, I remember Flávia, we do the crowd on top Cambiatus, because the guys at Benfeitoria, they're charging, I don't know, I think it was 7 or 8% for the crowdfunding platform. And I think, you know, this is something that it could potentially be on our roadmap when we process the fiat transaction and all that, because most people to put resources on causes that they believe, and still to enter different networks and still have a benefit, even when they are doing philanthropy. So it's a win-win situation because we are cooperating with a broader network, and this network is based on abundance. So the resources circulate, the resources flow. And by abundance, what I mean is not the singularity abundance. What I mean by abundance is constant flow of resources. When we have a constant flow of resources, just like nature has in a river because of the rain and all that, that's when we have abundance. And because we are circulating the mudas and we have this exercise of co-design, and because we have more people entering the network and offering you know, any type of services and goods, we are able to offer an abundant ecosystem to everyone that enters the network. So very, very happy to see this happening. You know, as Carla said, now it's out of our control. At the beginning, it was only the ones that we used to invite, and we had to, you know, pretty much go there, get their mobile phones and help them with the login process. And now, you know, every time we enter the platform, there's, I don't know, dozens of people, newcomers, and now it's gotten into a word of mouth that is, you know, making the network grow organically. And this is very, exciting. Does anyone have any other question?
I think we're good.
Yeah, I think it was awesome. I think we can move to kind of final thoughts and considerations. I'm just, it was amazing talk and just being able to share what we have been doing. And every time I kind of do it, I get the sense of when I prepare this presentation, I get the sense of, oh my God, we have done so much amazing things. We did this kind of impact report from Muda, and we went through all those 16 partnerships, and each partnership's like huge networks and huge impact, and something that it's really hard to measure. Like in Educar, it's really hard to measure the impact of these initiatives and simple talks, and just creating this space for people to learn and at their own pace, and ask them to just follow their curiosity. And it's difficult to measure, but things we measure, I go kind of blows my mind. I get so like overwhelmed in a good and most positive way about how much we have been doing. So it's really good and to kind of share a little of it, and being able to also connect to different people. Then yeah, just thank you a lot, and extra thank you for Shuttleworth Foundation for creating this space for people to connect, and for us to showcase our things. And yeah, thank you so much. And also for the opportunity of this flash grants. They are really kind of powerful, just trusting your network and fellows too. And I think it's also like what we are doing Muda, we kind of goes completely beyond our reach and goes so much organically. And that's, I think, where the power is, when we kind of just trust the process and let people do what they are kind of most passionate about. And I think you guys in Shuttleworth did that wonderfully, and I'm part of this. So thank you so much. Carla, Louise, the final consideration.
I think that was a perfect closing. Just happy to be here, and thank you, PMR, thank you, Karin and Chase and Rachel and all the people that was here before. You have a Steffi there. Thank you. It was wonderful. Thank you, Flavia, for facilitating this.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, everyone, for the attention. Thanks for participating. Thank you, Flavia, for the brilliant presentation. Thanks, Carla, for all the support, for always being here with us since we started Muda. And it's it's great to see how things are happening, things are flourishing. And I remember that we put in our pitch deck that Cambiatus provides hope for communities, and I think this is one of the most important things that we did for Educar and for all the partners at Muda. We provided hope during pandemic times, and they
We love him. But we provided hope. That was the final video.
Yeah. Great job providing hope. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining as well. Bye.
Bye.